Is Thursday, the 18th day of August, 2022. Fair warning to all three of you listening to this garbage. I'm not really feeling up to it today. I've really just been in my own head the last couple of weeks, which means I end up lazy, far more lazy than usual, and wallowing in bullshit self pity. The good thing is that I'm very cognizant of it, but then not doing anything about it. It's annoying. Most of it stems from still not being able to find a job. More on that later. I'm sure you're thrilled. Whatever. Onward. So this week I have nothing of any real substance to talk about because, as I've just mentioned, I've been exceedingly lazy, which means even less effort than usual being put to the show. I am going to talk soccer, so if you don't like that, fuck off. I'll talk a little more about the Red Sox, the Patriots, and fucking Dr. Oz. Not literally, of course, because he looks like a less attractive crypt keeper. I also have another awesome voicemail to share that's just a wild fucking take. Random as hell. Love it. And seeing as I'm lacking content this week, it's time to unveil my long awaited chip rankings. They've been sitting on the shelf for weeks after I did my sandwich rankings weeks ago. But today, my laziness is joining forces with my morbid obesity to bring you what will likely cause a major ruckus in the podcasting community. Huge disruption, which is a word I'm going to get to shortly. Then it's on to this week's three gripes: COVID, cannabis, and Led Zeppelin. That's all right here, right now, on episode 129 of Complaints and Observations.
Still, the most less than average podcast on the internet. With a host who's the smartest person in the room when he's the only one there. A continuing odyssey into mediocrity. Guaranteed to make you question your life choices and your own sanity. This is Complaints and Observations with Dave LaPointe. Who the hell is Dave LaPointe?
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
Leave it to Aaron Rodgers to put a smile on my face. Thank you, Aaron, you fucking weird person, you. What's happening? How are you? Hopefully things are going well. What the fuck? I've got these new shorts, and for some reason, constantly forgetting to zip my fly. What the fuck, dude? Good way to start the program, huh? Yeah, no worries there. Nothing's happening. So, yeah. So as I mentioned, don't have a ton to really talk about today. And when you only have yourself to talk to, it makes things, that much more difficult. But it is what it is. As I mentioned, I think wallowing in self pity is not really the right term. That makes it seem like I'm just downright depressed, and I don't think I'm depressed per se. I just think I'm down, probably the best way to put it. So partially, well, yeah, I mean partially. No, I shouldn't even say that because as I mentioned, it's been such a fucking pain in the balls to try to find a job, and to talk apparently as well. I'm admittedly being a bit picky with where I'm sending my resume, but at the same time, I'm still sending out fucking, at minimum 10 to 12 applications / resumes. Some, I would say maybe a quarter of those I am just flat out not qualified for, but I'm throwing it out there just for shits and giggles. But one of the things that I've come to really loathe Digital interviews. I had an actual physical in-person interview on Monday with a company that it sounds good. The opportunity sounds good. I'm not, I wasn't, you know, overly giddy about it. Mainly because it's something I've never done before in an industry I'm not entirely familiar with. But at the same time, others I know are very knowledgeable about them and know them. So I was excited. So I had to literally get up, put a suit on, and drive out to Waltham, Massachusetts, to a hotel conference room, and met with four people for this interview. They give you they give you like, so it was broken up like two people and then two people in different conference rooms, right? And so I sit down and we go through the first interview, and I ask the questions that I had prepared, and they tell me about the company, and then all right, thanks. Hey, the next people are down the hall, third door on the right. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks, guys. I walk into the second room, and both these guys are like, oh, that was quick. It's like, oh fuck, wow. Nothing says wow, this was a waste of time, then your interviewer saying, "Well, that was quick." But fuck. So yeah, it was kind of about but the digital interview thing. I understand it to a point. Okay, I mean we've progressed past the COVID hysteria for the most part. More on that later. Um, but the it's almost like a cop out, I think, in a way. But then again, it kind of gives you an idea of how companies feel about employees these days, where they're entirely replaceable. There's no value. Companies do not hold employees in the same value that they once did. And I even think that's kind of that I'm flopping around here, but I just don't. I think most companies don't really give a fuck about their employees. I'd say that's fairly obvious. There are some that care. I couldn't tell you who, but I think there are some. Here's the thing, right? I like the concept of working, of being busy, of doing something of substance, right? I mean, you sort of have to, but it's work in quotes is what I'm growing tired of, and I because and I there's no way I'm going to be able to convey this through a microphone the way that it's like built in my head, right? Because I look at them as two different things. Working and work are two different things. Okay, working is the physical act of doing your job. You have a job, they pay you to perform said job. That's working. And I think work is the sort of the umbrella over all of it. Because in it's hard to explain, partially because I think companies now seem to want you to like bow down and be forever grateful for the opportunity, to make them far more money than they're willing to pay you. But I can't stand, and at this point, I have stock answers for all the same interview questions that I'm going to get. And the one that pisses me off even like more than anything else, when they ask you why company X, right? So when they ask you why you've applied for the job, it's like, all right, do you want an honest answer or do you want bullshit? They always want bullshit. I don't see how that's valuable. So what you do is, you do your research, you learn about the company, you find a couple of keywords that their website mentions more than once, and you build that into your answer. But I mean, honestly, what I've done more than once is literally answer, well, I need a job and you guys are hiring, so I applied. It looks like it fits my background. I think I'm qualified. So there you go. But they don't want honesty, and yet they'll sit there in the next breath and say how much they value integrity. It's like, well, you don't, because if I tell you why I'm applying for a job, honestly, you're not going to like that because you want me to fucking sing the praises of company X and tell you how wonderful they are. when quite frankly, they're probably not. When they sell some stupid widget that's entirely useless, yet they think they're disrupting the industry. There's I've also got away from applying for any position that uses that term. Disrupting whatever. Disrupting the industry, disrupting the vertical, disrupting whatever. Disruption. It's like, what the fuck are you you didn't reinvent the wheel here. You're selling software to fucking HR people. You're selling furniture to fucking businesses. You're selling ad space for boating websites. You're selling power tools. You're not disrupting anything. The only thing you're disrupting is my fucking well-being, potentially. Stop using that term. Like, come up with a less douchey term. You could say transform. We're transforming the industry. Fine. Okay, cool. You're just manipulating what's already there. That's fine. Do that. Say that. The only thing they're being clever by saying disrupting the industry. Stop. I had an interview yesterday with a company that's a national company. They sell replacement parts for kitchen equipment, commercial kitchen equipment. Big company, growing company. In the ad, said it was a fully remote position because it says, hey, we're hiring for a national sales account manager. And then the region they used was United States. Oh, okay. Well, what does that tell me? What would that tell you? That as long as you're in the United States, you're cool. The entire setup for this thing was a fucking disaster. I had to submit my resume 3 times. Like, how many fucking copies do you need? How many numbers after that file do you really need? Because it's going to be a mess. So I have the interview, and of course it's virtual through Indeed, which whatever, it is what it is. And the recruiter was nice, very nice young lady. But she gets to one point, she's like, okay, well, as of September, whatever, we're going back to a hybrid model. And I'm thinking, what? A hybrid model? Okay, whatever. That wasn't mentioned, but fine. Our headquarters is located in Illinois, and we also have another office in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Plattsburgh, New York. Well, if you're familiar with my current situation, I am nowhere near any of those offices. So my question was, okay, the ad did not mention any sort of a hybrid model. Didn't mention anything about having to be, in the Midwest or in East Bumfuck, New York. What do we do? So I'm like, okay, well, I think we're done here because I can't. Oh, well, let me check with the hiring manager and see if that's possible. Again, sweet girl, completely useless though. So why wouldn't you tell me that from the jump? Because obviously I applied to something thinking it was something different. So I don't know. So that's been my life, I would say, for the last 3 or 4 months or so. And it's entirely my own doing. I'm the one that fucked up. I'm the one that shouldn't have done anything to begin with, but I did because I'm an idiot, as you know by listening to this show. I am an idiot. So, anywho, so that's work. That's what's going on work wise. Not that you give a fuck, but I think I'm in a similar boat to a lot of people. And I was reading something the other day about how 24% of people that left a position over the last 6 months are unhappy with their decision. Now, I'm not entirely unhappy with the decisions that I made. I'm unhappy at the decisions that I chose to make. You following me? Probably not, because I'm being monotone and blah. I hope you fast forwarded through this entire section. Because it's just fucking terrible. All right, so the Premier League is back. This weekend marks week number 3. Sadly, didn't get to do a season preview with my soccer pals, mainly because I think they're over it. Not soccer, but me in this program. Um, Two things. First and foremost, your West Ham United. Starting off with 2 straight. Did we? Yeah, we did lose last week. Fuck. Yeah, 2 straight losses. Week 1, match week 1, I should say. I don't want to mess that up. Against Man City, and we didn't show up. It's because our back end is just grossly injured. It's awful. And Man City is really fucking good, like disgustingly good. If you haven't watched the All or Nothing series that's on Amazon, the various soccer. Like I finished the first half of the Arsenal one from last season. You get a feeling about just how not I mean intense is one thing. It just seems like there's way more work involved for professional soccer players than professional athletes in other sports. Now, I think part of the reason is because you don't know the daily ins and outs, but with these series, you see everything and it's cool as hell. So I strongly suggest you watch that one. I got halfway through the Man City one from 2017, and fucking A. Good stuff. I mean, honestly, good show. But Man City's really fucking good. They'll probably win the league again this year, and then blow it in the Champions League in the semifinals because that's what they do. I don't really have any direct sort of hate for Man City, but they just keep winning. Man United, on the other hand, we'll get to that in a second. But West Ham has been spending money like a fucking drunken sailor for the first time since I've started supporting the club. So I'm very excited for all these signings that have come in. It's great. They made another signing yesterday, defender from PSG. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully he'll play. They are playing today, Thursday afternoon, in the opening round of the Europa Conference League, which is essentially the fucking C- Europa League. It's a consolation prize, but honestly, I'm fine with it. If we could have a representative showing within the league, the Europa Conference League, and the FA Cup, give me a representative showing in all three, and I'll be very happy. The manager wants a deep squad. That's what we're getting. Hopefully, I'd rather not see them sell anybody else at this point. They might have to trim somewhere, but I mean, we have nothing in the way of center backs right now just because we have 2 that are injured. We'll see what happens today. I'm not entirely confident that we're going to be ready for Sunday. I think we're playing Brighton. Yeah, Brighton. So fascinating stuff. I've mentioned this before, but I fall more in love with that sport. Every time I watch something about it, I just find it endlessly fascinating, and hopefully, I'll get out to England at some point to see something. But again, I need a job, so whatever. Maybe I get a job in soccer. Yeah. Hey, do you know a guy who knows very little about the sport who is a bum? Yeah, it's terrible. I'm not even. Ugh. Speaking of terrible, Manchester United. Ooh. Now, if you happen to be someone who listened to the soccer preview last season, my good pal Ian, who's been on the show a couple times, massive Manchester United supporter. It's not even worth teasing him via text anymore because it is just so sad like where things are with that club. And sad it is a relative term because it's quite pleasing for, I would say, every other supporter for any other team other than Man United. But now you've got Elon Musk, who is just a complete fucking clueless douche. Like, just stop being you for a little while, man. um Jokingly in a tweet said he was going to buy Manchester United. And of course, that set off fucking flares all over the world. Like, oh my God, he's going to buy Man United. Shut up. not going to buy anything. We already went through this with fucking Twitter, right? And now he's getting sued for it, and he's probably going to lose. Idiot. But the Glazers, who own Man United and also own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are probably, I shouldn't say probably going to sell the club because they won't, because they want a reported $5 billion. Now, you think $5 billion, you think to yourself, boy, that's a lot of money. Slow down. The Denver fucking Broncos just sold for more than that. The Denver Broncos. And when the Washington football team goes on sale, which my guess is going to be shortly, that's my bold take. By the end of 2022, that wretched piece of shit, Dan Snyder, will have to sell his team. And it'll probably be 6 or 7 million, billion. It's fucking absurd. Like, honestly, sports is supposed to be like an escape. It's a gigantic business, and it's so fucking terrible. Terrible. But as of today, West Ham is sitting 19th in the table, which is not last. Because you know who's at last? Man United. Then again, we haven't fucking scored a goal. So our goal difference is -3, whereas Man U, it's -5. So that's why we're in 19th. But, need a win. Or you know what? We need a fucking point this weekend. And Brighton ain't bad. So, we'll see. We'll see. Brighton's not terrible. Hopefully we win this afternoon. That would be nice. Progress forward in the Fakakta Europa League. But actually, a handful of minutes ago, real time, it came down that the NFL and Deshaun Watson have come to some sort of agreement. Not really much of an agreement, if you ask me, but it's basically 11 games, 12 weeks suspension, a $5 million fine plus game check. So it breaks down to $5.66666666666 million fine. It's like he got off light, if you ask me. He should have got the whole fucking season again. Just because, and you know what it is? One, obviously, because you probably sexually assault. What was the line that I wrote down? This is pretty funny. All right, so he should be able to play again. I don't want to see him never be able to work again. Okay, even though he's gonna make money forever because he signed that fucking guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns. But he served no actual punishment. He was suspended last season. Actually, he wasn't even suspended. He just didn't play. He collected his entire fucking paycheck last year, which was about $10 million. So he made $10 million last year doing nothing. Nothing. So he served no actual punishment for these alleged crimes, and he got off easy. The dude threw his fucking cock on or at least 30 women who wanted nothing to do with said cock, and he comes out of it a multimillionaire. America is fucking weird. Throwing his cock all over the place while getting a massage. And it cost him $5 million. In the grand scheme of things, when his contract it calls for however many hundreds of millions of dollars guaranteed, $5 million ain't so bad. And I've mentioned this before. My guess is that the first time he got a massage, he actually succeeded in getting a willing participant to help him out. And he just automatically thought that every masseuse after that would be a willing participant. Not how it works. Deshaun. Sorry. Quit being a fucking creep, dude. But not enough bad things can happen to the Cleveland Browns moving forward. I hope it goes horribly wrong. And you know what the worst part about this thing? Not the worst part, obviously. The worst part is that he's getting away with it, and that he's going to be on the field again this year. If he sat the whole season, Came back next year, fine, whatever, no big deal. But I mean, he's the first game he gets to play is right back in Houston. Like, what kind of fucking weird shit is that, NFL? What are you doing? What are you doing? And he'll go and he'll fucking destroy the Texans, and everybody will be like, oh, look how great fucking Deshaun Watson is. Yay. I'm so glad he's here. Yay. And the poor people in Cleveland, of course, they're going to fucking cheer for the guy. They've had nothing to cheer for I mean, they've had one playoff win in how many fucking years. And then, they ditched that fucking kid, Mayfield, in exchange for this guy. I mean, it's either you no longer support the Cleveland Browns or you root for this fucking clown. So you bite your tongue and you root for this fucking clown. It sucks. I feel bad for them because they've had no luck for many, many years, decades even. And now they're stuck with this fucking buffoon. Poor, poor Cleveland Browns fans. Oh, do I want to talk about the Red Sox? I suppose. Listen, the Red Sox are still 4.5 games out of the third wild card spot, which is the Fakakta wild card. As if it's the European Conference League of wild card spots. I find that funny. No one else will. But they're finally starting to get healthy. The pitching staff, the bullpen is starting to come together. I don't want to say pitching staff because man, but the bullpen is getting a little bit better. Although Tanner Houck is up, but who cares? It doesn't really matter because Whitlock is there. You're gonna see guys get healthy, and you're gonna see them go on a bit of a run. That's a guarantee. But they're not gonna make the playoffs. They'll start sniffing. It'll be like the last day of the year. They need to beat Baltimore in order to get past the Rays, and the Rays will win, and the Red Sox will win, and it won't matter. They'll miss out. And then all off season long, it'll be, oh, how close they were. Oh, all they need to do is this, this, and this, and they're going to be right back in World Series contention. Unless one of those this is firing that fucking buffoon of a general manager, they're not going anywhere. I'd be shocked if this kid could fucking walk and chew gum at the same time or be able to tell time on a fucking non-digital clock. Went to Yale and has no goddamn clue what's going on. Blows my fucking mind. But then again, he's probably not hired to have a clue. My guess is that he's hired to sign 4A ball players who might hit and then save some money for old John Henry to buy all the ice cream cones that he wants with his youthful looking wife, who is becoming less youthful looking by the day. Linda. I shouldn't shit on Linda. That's mean. Why would you do that? But they still stink, and I'm going to stick by that. All right, so the time has finally come to release the top, let's say top 6. Top 6, and I actually titled this Potato-Based Crisp Product Rankings. But they're not all potato-based, so I'm just going to call them chip rankings because I think they were all technically chips for the most part. Number 1, Pringles Plain, the gold standard for a sandwich side. When you're having a sandwich of any kind, Pringles on the side is awesome. And I maintain that it is the best chip side or crisp side that you could possibly have. Plain. Now, you could argue that the flavored ones are better. And I think on their own, you might be right. But in this argument, the context of this list has to do with mainly sandwiches and being an accompaniment to your sandwich. And I think the Pringles Plain is the way to go. The sour cream and onion Pringles, too much sour cream and onion. The salt and vinegar Pringles, too much salt and vinegar. They overdo it because they have to overtake the potatoey, crispy, plain factor. You know what I'm saying? Do you get where I'm going with this? Maybe, I don't know. Number 2, Lay's salt and vinegar. Plain Lay's, salt and vinegar, a very close second. My father, rest his soul, loved salt and vinegar chips. Now, his untimely demise had nothing to do with salt and vinegar chips, at least I don't think. But that was really bad to say. Oh, God. But my father loved salt and vinegar chips. And I think part of that was handed down to me. Now, I don't eat a ton of them because, one, my blood pressure is high enough. I don't need all that salt. I eat enough salt without eating more salt. So it's a treat. It's a rare. I would say it's probably no more than twice a year do I go salt and vinegar chips, just because I know I'll feel like fucking crap afterwards. Number 3, nacho cheese Doritos, or as the kids these days call them, red Doritos. Calling all Doritos simply Doritos, I have found, is a boomer move. You can't do it. But you have to use the flavor and not the color, because that's a fucking dumb kid move. Red Doritos, blue Doritos, purple Doritos. These fucking idiots have no idea what they're doing. You cannot call red, blue, and purple are not flavors. All right? So you're eating nacho cheese Doritos. It says fucking nacho cheese right on the bag, or it says Cool Ranch right on the bag. Just fucking call it what it is. I was alive when there was only one Dorito flavor, so you called them Doritos. Like when Cool Ranch Doritos came out, you're like, oh fuck, what is this? Whoa. Whoa. And here's the thing, I love some Cool Ranch Doritos. The purple Doritos, like the fucking chili spice ones, not terrible. But there's only the king is the nacho cheese. And it's the kind of thing that I could eat half a bag, no problem. Eyes closed, not thinking, half a bag, gone. So, nacho cheese Doritos. Number 4, Ruffles, sour cream, and cheddar. It sounds like a fat person chip. It is a fat person chip. I am a fat person. So, there you go. Number 5, Oots Honey Barbecue. Now, I've always called it Oots. It's probably Utz, but Oots just sounds funnier. So, Oots Honey Barbecue. I think these are the best. I think their plain chip is the best plain chip in the game. So, the plain chip with the honey barbecue flavor, solid. No frills. Most of the bag is crumbs, though. These go great with a chicken salad sandwich. I don't know what it is, but I think that combination works. And then number 6, Funyuns. Only in this spot because it is a whole bag or nothing scenario. You're not getting a full-size bag of Funyuns and then simply putting a handful on the plate next to your Sando. Ain't happening. It's not possible. And also, they're made with cornmeal, so technically not a chip. It does have a crisp, so I guess you could call it a crisp. But I fucking love Funyuns. And I'm sorry for those people that don't. But man, Funyuns are so fucking good. And like the worst part about it is if someone takes a bag of Funyuns and pours it into a bowl, oh, come on. You're two-handing that bowl. Absolutely two-handing that bowl. And before long, they're all gone. And then you're sad. No more Funyuns.
Hi, this is Heather again. Thank you so much for talking about my grocery store bag dilemma the other week. But I have a new complaint, and this time it's about the WNBA. This is a hot take. So we go to a game, and they have the ball, like the T-shirt toss to give, the audience the t-shirts, whatever. They had freaking 6-year-olds taking the t-shirt, so they couldn't really toss them, right? Because they wouldn't go over the first row. So instead, they're walking up to the people who already could afford courtside seats and just handing them the t-shirt. Like, those people who are on the courtside seat can go and buy a t-shirt and it's no sweat off the back. The people who are way in the stands, those are the ones that need it. So don't hire a 6-year-old to give the t-shirts. Or if you're going to, give them the little gun thing that shoots them out further. They would have loved that more. So let me know your thoughts. I bet the NBA wouldn't do this. It's just the WNBA that did this. But, yeah, no, it got me pretty riled up today. So thanks.
You again, Heather. Greatly appreciated. Bringing the heat once again with more entirely inane pettiness. This is so fucking great. I listened to this thing like a dozen times because there's so many layers to this to just peel off this particular onion, and I love it. First of all, I think she's entirely correct. Okay, you can't have a T-shirt giveaway that only gives away T-shirts to the people in the expensive seats. I actually looked into how much it costs for courtside seats for a WNBA game, and I used the vaunted Connecticut Sun, who play their games at Mohegan Sun, hence the tie-in. And granted, they're playing a playoff game this weekend, so the ticket prices might be a little bit more elevated. But a pair of tickets courtside for tonight, $412.70 for courtside seats for the Connecticut Sun for a pair. All right, that includes fees and everything else. Are these people handing people? Are these people handing out the T-shirts literally 6 years old? She made it sound like these people were literally 6. If they're actual 6-year-olds, they should not be handing out the T-shirts. Because I think it's just it's built-in bias for these kids. They don't know where they're going, so they're going to automatically take the easiest route. Or they're going to try to throw the T-shirt and not get past the first row, which would have been funny to watch, which could be why they do it. The hope is that the staff goes back to the courtside seat people and just takes the T-shirts from them, but I highly doubt that's the thing. She also mentioned T-shirt guns. I think I would probably pay $412 to watch a 6-year-old kid try to shoot a T-shirt gun, because my guess is there's a little bit of a kickback to those air rifles, which is essentially what they are. I would like to see the kids try to do it and then fucking slide across the floor. That would probably be pretty funny. But she's not far off. Why are you giving free T-shirts to people who are fucking overpaying for tickets? Like, they don't need it. And in reality, nobody else really needs your T-shirts because it's probably just a marketing ploy for whoever is sponsoring the game that particular evening. It's going to be for fucking, Jimmy's lawnmower service down in Uncasville, Connecticut. Sponsor the game, and that you got his logo on the back of the T-shirt, and you're like, oh, yeah. Sweet, free T-shirt. But people fucking go crazy for free T-shirts. I've mentioned this on the show. This might have been a very, very early on take, like first 5-episode take, that people go fucking bananas for free T-shirts. Free T-shirts and free food. People go fucking crazy for it. So, part of the reason they get people up, get people hyped. And anytime you go to a game or anything where there's free T-shirts involved, and you see the way people react to the possibility of getting a T-shirt for free, it's like people were throwing bags of cash at them when it's literally a fucking $4 T-shirt. Screen printed garbage. Yeah, the NBA has the budget for T-shirt guns, though. I don't think the WNBA does. So I think that's part of the problem. You would think the NBA would step in and be like, all right, we need to nip this T-shirt problem in the bud here. We can't have we can't have child labor handing out T-shirts. It's a bad look for the WNBA. Most people would say, that's the least of the WNBA's problems. I wouldn't say that. I gamble on the WNBA occasionally, and occasionally do well. More so than not, I do poorly. Hence, I'm a terrible gambler. But I don't disagree with Heather. I think this needs to be remedied. Maybe put the 6-year-old kids up in the balconies and have them throw the t-shirts from there. Don't have them do it courtside because it's just weird. I mean, you have fucking cameras. You can put them wherever they go. You can film it and put it on the jumbotron. So it's not as if the crowd is going to miss out on the 6-year-old throwing a t-shirt or attempting to throw a t-shirt. Have you seen little kids try to throw something? You know, they do that stupid thing where they pick their foot up and their arm goes like cocked to the side instead of back like you're supposed to. That's more bad parenting than anything else. Not teaching your kid form. You know, Heather, you should make a note to whatever particular team this was and say, hey, uh, maybe tell the parents of these 6-year-olds that they can't throw, and you're fucking up my experience at the game. Wonderfully petty. I hope Heather calls every week. I say this all the time for anybody who ever calls. Like past caller Andrew, we've completely lost Andrew. Unfortunately, he's gone. He's gone, which is sad because he had some gems. Although I think Heather is far more petty, and that's what we want: pettiness. Because it's not a real complaint. She's not really complaining. I mean, maybe she is, and if she is, fucking kudos to you. But oh, I love it. Please keep calling because I'm sure that 6-year-olds throwing T-shirts is the least of your complaints. I don't mean that in a bad way. That sounded bad. Oh man, I just wish more people would call. I really do. I say this all the time, but fuck. And I put the goddamn phone number out all the time. All the time. And I occasionally will get calls, but fuck, man. It's just the show could be 10,000 times better if more people called that stupid Google voice line. Oh fuck, that was so good. As it is Thursday, it is time for everybody's favorite part of the show. Three gripes. Three gripes. Gripe number one: COVID. This week was supposed to be a weekend trip up to Canada. My mother has been asking to go to Canada for a while because she's deeply ensconced into, and I don't know if I talked about this last week. I might have. Who the fuck knows? I don't remember anything. Into genealogy, and she wanted to go up to Canada to continue said research. Well, unfortunately, my poor mother has finally succumbed to COVID. I say succumbed. Well, she didn't die. She just tested positive. Unfortunately, she feels like garbage. And quite frankly, she looked like garbage when I went down to see her and administer the test, which basically, when I fucking dropped the water into the little tester thing, uh, may as well just in a fucking fireworks display, like, whoa, yep, that's fucking positive. Yikes. So we have to postpone the Canada trip because of COVID. Canada doesn't want you in their country if you've even come remotely close to COVID. So I don't know when we're going to be able to go, but um, we'll see. The downside to this is that it now really puts me into quite the pickle. Is this particular weekend was selected because my wife is very busy this weekend. She's going to see the Lady Gaga at Fenway Park on Friday, and then she was having all of her childhood friends over on Saturday, which was just the most idyllic time to just get out and not be around. So now I'm in a real pickle, a real quandary where I have zero to do with myself on Saturday. I don't know what the fuck. I've been racking my brain trying to think of shit to do on Saturday to get the fuck out of the house. Nobody is around to play golf. So what I might end up doing, and I've never done this before, is go play golf as a single and get paired up with some randos. If it was 4 randos, that would be fine, but you never go, it's always, like maybe a pair and then 2 singles, but whatever. So I don't know. I might end up doing that. We'll see how it goes. But fucking COVID, it's not going away. And anybody who says that it is fucking crazy, man. Like, COVID's no joke. It's no joke. And so don't think it's going away, because it hasn't. It's gone easier. It's probably the best way to put it. It's gone easier. Not for everyone, for most of us. So thankfully, my mom feels a little bit better today. She's getting prescribed the antiviral pill. What is it called? Plaxovid or some fucking stupid. Where do they come up with these names for these fucking things? Honestly, how do they name a pill? Dumb. So hopefully that'll help speed up the process and get her over the hump. My mother has enough fucking medical maladies. She doesn't need another one. And the hope is that she gets through this without a problem. But yeah, fuck COVID. It's ruined my weekend. And made my mother sick. So fuck you, COVID. Gripe number 2, cannabis. I have nothing against cannabis per se. I really don't. I'm a proponent of cannabis. I have been for a very long time. I am not a regular user of cannabis, not nearly as much as I used to be. Probably in my mid-20s, I was a daily smoker. But boy, was I smoking crap. Whew, boy, some real fucking dank garbage. I can't remember if dank or swag was good or bad. I don't know. But it was just gross. A lot of stems and there was nothing worse than buying a bag of weed and it was full of stems and seeds. Like, I remember the first time I ever stole weed from my father's stash. I opened the bag and it was just like what are you doing here? Did you take a shovel and scoop some out of the bottom of a fucking pot? Like, this is gross. There was barely any actual fucking smokable weed in there. It's just all stems and seeds. But my issue with cannabis is, right, so I got an email the other day from this company that I've used in the past called Mainvest, which is basically, small time investing in local business, right? A very interesting concept. I really like it. And I've invested in Top Shelf Cookies. If you're not familiar with Top Shelf Cookies, you should be. They have a location in Dorchester, right across the street from the McDonald's on Galvin Boulevard. So you should check them out. And her cookies are fucking amazing. I need to buy some, to be perfectly honest, because it's been a while. But still, her cookies are fucking great. But I've also, put very, very small amounts of money, like $100 here, $200 there, into a variety of other businesses. One is a cannabis dispensary that's going to be built in Boston. And so because I've done this, I got an email from Mainvest said, "Hey, just a note about your cannabis investments." Basically, cannabis businesses are in such a fucking weird spot that they cannot repay you for these investments. They can, but my guess is that it's in cash and that you would have to literally go to the establishment and get repaid in cash. Or you take a credit within Mainvest. I don't know how that works, but whatever. The thing to me is how many fucking people in this state and in this country are still in prison because of fucking weed? And yet here we are in a growing I don't want to say majority, because I don't think it's the majority yet, but it's gonna be at some point. And it wouldn't shock me if it's legalized federally at some point soon. Joe's not going to do it because he is an old man, doesn't like the marijuana. War on drugs and all that fucking fakakta crap. But it's kind of fucking weird where, the number of people that are still in prison because of fucking weed Yet I'm able to fucking deposit $100 into somebody's account to open literally a weed store. Think about that. And you hear about it occasionally, but you don't hear about it enough. And it really it shouldn't be that way. It should be talked about incessantly because it's fucking bullshit. In most of the places, I would assume that there are people still in prison because of weed or in these backwards parts of the country, which you want to talk about a growing majority, backward parts of the country are catching up to maybe even lapped the non-backwards parts, the forward-thinking parts of the country. So, dip below that Mason-Dixon line and, you get into some fucking weird territory. And so my guess is that majority of the folks that are still in prison because of weed are so in these weird-ass backward parts of the country. But it's really fucking stupid. It's mind-numbingly stupid. Because even in the parts of the country that are backward, like medicinal marijuana is becoming more accepted, in some cases legalized, yet you're still going to have a ton of people in jail because of weed. Stupid. But there's a whole other that's a whole other conversation. The prison system, the exploitation of prisoners. It's a very, very it's not even a slippery slope. It's entirely sticky. It's bullshit. The for-profit prison system is fucking stupid. The prison labor system is fucking stupid. But it'll never stop because this country is fucking stupid. What can you do? Oh, you can move. Yeah, I wish. I wish I could. It's not that easy. It would be nice, but it's not that easy. This episode is sponsored by Manscaped. It's not. It's not. Do you want to shave your nuts after I just got done talking about private prisons and weed? Well, use the new Lawnmower 4.0. Guaranteed to not cause your nuts to bleed when you're trimming your bush. Manscaped. Gripe number 3, Led Zeppelin. There's a quote in the LA Times yesterday that kind of made me mad. Quote, going back to the font, which is a word that he used, going back to the font to get some kind of massive applause, it doesn't really satisfy my need to be simulated. End quote. That's from Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin. The story basically goes is that Mr. Plant in his 70s now, which let me give you like the exact age for Robert Plant. Robert Plant, how old is he? He is 73 years old. 73-year-old Robert Plant seems to think he can still hit the high notes from some of his more popular songs. Specifically, Immigrant Song. He thinks he can hit the high note there. I think he's fucking full of shit. But then the story goes is that he doesn't feel the need to perform Led Zeppelin songs because it doesn't satisfy him in any sort of manner. So there you are. The thing that gets me, and that has really fucking pissed me off here, is that one, you're sort of thieves, okay? Let's put that part aside. But you became one of the biggest bands on the planet back in the 70s because you were playing in front of a large crowd of people who were willing to pay you to do so. And those people willing to pay you enjoyed doing so. So my problem is that, instead of being thankful for the people that, made you what you are and enriched your life in a number of different ways, specifically your bank account, you don't have to be so flippant about it. And look, the reason that you stopped performing those songs was because your drummer stupidly, more or less killed himself. But, don't come out here and try to tell people that are fans of your band that it doesn't satisfy my need to be stimulated. Fuck off, pal. Honestly, don't say that. Just say, make something else up that doesn't sound like you're being such a fucking prick. Stop being such a fucking asshole. There's no reason for it. All that line is going to do is piss people off because you've managed to do a very good job of that for a very long time. Like I remember specifically standing in line in front of Filene's waiting for tickets for the Plant and Page show at what was then Great Woods and getting fucking hosed out of those tickets, mind you. And then specifically not inviting John Paul Jones to join you because you didn't want it to be a Led Zeppelin, reboot or whatever it was. But you're a fucking prick. There's no need for it. And you're sullying the I don't want to say the good name because I don't know, but the good memory, I guess, of a band that I thoroughly enjoyed for a very long time, for, probably most of my existence. I was exposed to Led Zeppelin at a very young age. I've talked about my father way too much today, huh? Jesus. I do. I miss my dad. If your dad's still around, please give him a call. Tell him I said what's up, and that you guys should be pals. But fuck, that's just it's a dickish quote. And I didn't care for it, and I felt the need to talk about it. I was not lucky enough to see the band live. Not the band live, but Led Zeppelin live. That was a bad joke. So it makes me mad when he comes out and says something fucking shitty like that. And he's probably not purposely being shitty, but he's being uppity, which is what he's been for a very long time. So honestly, fuck off, Bob. Fuck off, Bob Plant. He doesn't sound so cool when you call him Bob Plant. What a fucking terrible name. Oh, I gotta write that down. I don't know how I could ever forget that. That's pretty good. Hey, Bob. I wonder how many people call him Bob. It's always I find it funny when people talk about Robert De Niro and they call him Bob or Bobby. But Robert Plant, if you call him Bob Plant, like Bob De Niro sounds better than Bob Plant. Oh, that's funny. Making myself laugh. Pathetic. Not really. I don't have a co-host or a guest. Someday we'll get there. We're only close to 150 episodes of this bullshit. Like if you count all my not in episodes, I think it's like 140. It's 139 too many. Let's be fair. But all right, that's it for the show. I've rambled and talked about nothing for way too long. What is going on here? My battery's dying. But listen, you can go to my Instagram page at ComplainsPod, my Twitter page at ComplainsPod. My Twitter page is fun, so if you're on Twitter, get to Twitter at ComplainsPod. I think it's pretty good. I have a Facebook page, but fuck Facebook. I have a YouTube page. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I have a Twitch channel that I don't know what I'm doing with it. I have a TikTok page that I don't do anything with, at Complaints Talk, TOK. Call the number, 617-657-4736. Call in, complain. Give me your petty WNBA bullshit fucking takes. They don't have to be specifically the WNBA, because I don't have anything against the WNBA. I really don't. I do have something against the game presentation of the WNBA. It's stupid. All the child labor, breaking child labor laws all over the place. The WNBA. Call in 617-657-4736. Love to hear from you. So seriously. But as I say at the end of every episode, I ask you always kindly to please tell your friends and also tell your moms, because Would love to get more people to listen to this show. Maybe it'll improve. That's a promise. The more people that listen to the show, the better the show will be. Guaranteed. Ugh. But yeah, that's it. Thank you as always. It's greatly appreciated. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Godspeed. Ta-ta.